So we covered multiple stories of Donald Trump not paying his bills. There were times during the campaign that stories leaked that years ago he paid illegal immigrants to do his work. Now, this is a guy who, ran a campaign on, we're going to build a wall. We're going to build a wall, and if you're here illegally, you're gone. You're gone. Sad. Well, he's paying illegal immigrants to do a lot of his work. He paid them less than minimum wage. Stay classy there, buddy. An alleged billionaire paying less than minimum wage. He also flat out stiffed a bunch of workers. There was a really long list of people small businesses where they did contracting work for him, and then they're like, yeah, he never fucking paid me. And then when they ask Trump about it, they say, well, look, some people do bad work, so, I didn't pay them. They didn't deserve it. They didn't earn it. Pretty sure that's not how it works. So you don't like somebody's work, so I'm just going to stiff you. That's not the way it works. And then furthermore, they even asked him about specific people. Like, oh, what did you think of this contractor? And Trump was like, tremendous work. I'd use him again. And they speak to that contractor. He's like, he owes me $1.5 million. So he's saying I stiffed him because they didn't do well. But then you ask him about specific ones. He's like, tremendous. Best worker ever. Oh, I didn't pay them? I'm out. So the guy's just a fucking scumbag. But this story honestly just got even more incredible. So we learned the other week, he's got over $1.5 billion in debt, held mostly on Wall Street to various financial institutions. I mean, that's crazy. You got over $1 billion in debt. That sets up unprecedented conflicts of interest. I mean, I was concerned about it with Hillary Clinton. I should have been equally concerned about it with Donald Trump, because over $1 billion in personal debt. Well, those banks that he owes it to, they can get whatever they want because they have leverage. Okay, look, man, you want us to wipe off a couple $100,000 from a couple $100,000 or a couple $100 million, whatever. Pass this legislation deregulating us further. Pass this legislation allowing us to keep doing tax avoidance and tax dodging, or give us a deal where we pay 3% tax on it if we bring it back in. So they have leverage, and that's not good. But now we learn, the Washington Post is reporting that Trump continued to stiff workers while he was on the campaign trail. The fucking balls on this guy. So understand that other stories leaked about him stiffing campaign workers. They leaked while he was on the campaign trail, but they were referring to, years prior these things happened. So at least he has the plausible deniability for whatever it's worth, which isn't much, where he can say, yeah, that was 8 years ago. They're saying no, while he was on the campaign trail. So they explain here, workers from AES Electrical apparently went all out to make sure Donald Trump could open his luxury hotel on the day he wanted. In the frenzied final 6 weeks of work at the hotel, while Trump touted the project on the campaign trail, AES of Laurel, Maryland, claims it assigned 45 members of its staff to work 12-hour shifts for nearly 50 consecutive days to get the lights, electrical, and fire systems prepared on time. The Trump Organization and its construction manager, Lend-Lease, stopped paying AES 3 days before Christmas. AES filed a mechanics lien with the D.C. government alleging that it was out almost $2.1 million. The AES filing brings the total of allegedly unpaid bills on the hotel to more than $5 million total. Washington area plumbing firm Joseph J. Magnolia, Inc. and Northern Virginia construction company A&D Construction are seeking $2.98 million and $79,700, respectively. So Trump said, remember recently he was bragging, oh, yes, we finished this project. We finished it on schedule and ahead of time. On schedule and ahead of time. That's what he's referring to. So, yeah, you finished it on schedule and ahead of time, kind of, sort of. But you stiff the fucking workers who did it, who got you there. Trump 101, man. You think this guy, is a fucking working class, hero? You fell for it. You been had. You been took. You been bamboozled. There's no way. I mean, stiffing workers, paying illegal immigrants less than minimum wage. he also, while he campaigned railing against NAFTA and TPP and outsourcing, which are issues where I totally agree with his rhetoric on the campaign trail about that stuff, he outsources his own jobs, dipshit. His own jobs. He sent jobs to Turkey and Mexico and China. There's that famous interaction with Donald Trump and David Letterman on David Letterman's show, where David Letterman gets Trump started on China, where he rants and he raves and he goes on and on against China and, oh my God, currency manipulation and they're screwing us in trade and this and that and yada, yada, yada. And then David Letterman takes out one of Trump's ties and says, this is a nice tie. I think I'd wear this tie. I really like the color scheme and everything. Anyway, Don, take a look at this tie. Hold your tie for me here. Show the audience your tie. Do me a favor. Read what it says to me on the back there. He's like, made in China. Yes, of course, because he's unmoored. He has no core philosophy. And when that's the case, you can get very good at crowd surfing and reading everybody's emotions and telling everybody in the room what they want to hear. But when push comes to shove, he's either going to act off of his authoritarian impulse behind the scenes, which we've seen him do things like that before, or what he'll do is, at times, he realizes, hey, I'm over my head, I got to defer to whoever's around me, and he picked the establishment to be around him. So it's either going to be super-duper establishment or an authoritarian, bullheaded, crazy person, or a mix of both. None of those things are good, and all the evidence points in that direction.